And welcome to another edition of Some Number of Days After DragonCon Goes Virtual. And joining me, as always, the reason why birds suddenly appear, Lee.
Hi! How are you, John? We haven't seen each other.
We have not seen each other. We've texted each other.
You've texted
we tried to stay sane.
Yes, we're saying
Is
2020
over yet?
No, 2020 is not. Just let everybody know we're taping this on November 5th. So that says a lot about where we all are.
Yeah, almost exactly 2 months after the big event.
And now, John, you were on some live streams and you helped me with some pre-recording and stuff like that. So how was your DragonCon Goes Virtual?
My DragonCon Goes Virtual was really nice. It was listen, I've gone to several we'll call them conventions. Yeah. Prior to that, and after that, tech conventions, other whatever trainings, whatever those things you normally appear in person on. And I got to say, still nothing has touched what the team at DragonCon pulled off. I don't know how they did it, and I helped, and I still don't know how they did it. But I don't either. I loved it. It was fairly amazing. My kids loved it. My wife loved it. It was all good in the hood. Well, I think what I loved about it too is my staff and I were on. It's volunteers, track volunteers. We're on Discord a lot, and people who had never been to DragonCon would get on Discord and talk to us, and they would be like, "So what is extract?" And then they'd be like, "Oh, this now makes me want to come." But we also want them to do it like this next year. And I'm like, why y'all want to kill us? I don't want to. No, you don't want to do it like that next year. But John, yes. And to that end, here we go. We got 3 people to talk with us: Rachel Reeves, David Cody, and Regina Kirby. All of them are with DragonCon. Rachel and Dave are the co-chairs, and Regina is the programming chair who will. Yeah, she's. Yeah. Oh, okay. So now, what is everybody DragonCon wearing right now? Why did you do?
Okay, well, I have the volunteer shirt.
Yes, it's so pretty.
And the tiki shirt. I'm wearing it kind of as a jacket.
Yes,
I like it.
It is a little chilly today. I like it. It looks good. So, how about you, John? I got DragonCon. I'm wearing the official DragonCon Goes Virtual T-shirt.
Cool.
I love it. Cool.
I didn't realize it had this on it when I purchased it, but the hashtag DragonCon family is really
a lot of people saw that afterwards, and
very nice touch.
Yeah, that's how we feel.
And David and Rachel, your DragonCon wear? Nope, he's wearing it for the photos.
No,
Dave represents baseball at all times.
I'm wearing my Brave shirt.
Okay.
You fly the colors when they fall. So
that is very true.
I know our fans are not big sport ball people, but I'm a big Braves fan. So
let me go get my Rays shirt on real quick.
There you go. Get your Rays. Hey, love the Braves. Love how they build their organization. So I feel your pain.
Yep. There's just one decision that they made different.
Oh, really?
I think we have quite a few Atlanta United.
Oh, yeah, we do.
So we do.
We do have a lot of Atlanta United.
That sports ball is.
See, you'll know the true Atlanta United fans if you see them wearing their jerseys now, because they're just not very good this year.
Yeah, right. Well, they still go. And my understanding is the tailgate parties are as good as any college football ones do. So
they're something else. I've gone to a few games there, or something else. Yeah.
Okay. And Rachel, are you wearing a DragonCon shirt?
Of course. The volunteer shirt from the
volunteer shirt.
Just my fave.
It's your fave. I like it too. It's really soft this year. I like how soft.
This one is incredibly soft too.
Yeah, they're doing the soft ones. Yeah, now I love them. So, and I'm wearing what was the white DragonCon hoodie, but then I tie-dyed it because I should never wear white.
It looks very nice.
Yeah, I do too, and it's so fun. So that's really good. All right. So what are you guys hearing? Rachel, what you get the app feedback or any feedback. So what's going on there?
Oh goodness. Our fans, as always, represented with a lot of feedback. Overwhelmingly, it has been incredibly positive. across our social platforms, anything received at the office. Honestly, the whole experience has been humbling, and I don't know how to describe it any other way. I'm so beyond proud of our team and what we put together, especially in about 2 months after the announcement of the cancellation, because we were trying real hard. As Dave can attest to, we had lots and lots and lots of plans and lots of talks with the hotels and all of our partners and things. And then when we just knew we couldn't do it safely and made the tough decision to cancel, we had, a couple of months to really put this whole thing together. So the fans have been super appreciative of what we presented for DragonCon Goes Virtual. The programming, the social aspect, we worked really hard on. And Lee, you mentioned a big part of it a moment ago, Discord.
Yep.
And all the things. And then most recently, we have gotten a lot of fan feedback. I believe we are the only show that decided we wanted to give our fans that rolled over and stuck with us during this time a little love after the show in the form of their 2020 membership badge, lanyard, as well as a handy dandy face mask for this time. And it has been overwhelmingly positive, but our fans do have an incredible sense of humor as well. So we have been watching on our social groups, and a lot of people are taking the opportunity to get very creative, because when you purchase masks for 20,000 people, you do need to err on the large side, because there's all sorts of different sizes and shapes and everything, and it is not very realistic to go out and get all those people's sizes and figure out and all of that. So I really appreciated their humor. I've seen them worn as headbands. I've seen a lot as masks. I've seen a lot of people that were so crafty put in some extra features to the mask to make them fit a little tighter for smaller faces.
Yeah, what are those darts? Yeah, things like that. Yeah.
So it's been very cool. So overall, really, really positive. I think even with any of the critiquing, it was even humorous and in good spirits, because I think people knew that what we set out for was what I like to describe as a big old giant DragonCon hug during a time that we all needed it, because we can't get real ones. And I think we accomplished that. So feedback has been very positive. I think really the challenge is normally we get some constructive criticism and we're able to go to work with figuring out how to change things or incorporate that or fix things and all of that. And we didn't get a whole lot of that this year. So now it's kind of discussions around what can we bring forward? What do you, if we have to do it again, how are, track directors even engaging fans during the year? It looks a bit different than it has in years previous. So it's a unique situation than we've had before, because it has been so incredibly supportive and positive and just across the board, very well received.
Yeah, it was good. And I don't know, Rachel or Dave, did you spend any time in like the Discord or things like that? Because I loved being in that because it was so much fun.
Oh, absolutely. I kept an eye on the moderation channel, kept an eye on some of the busier channels. Our moderation team just did a tremendous job. They worked with the folks that were kind of trying to push the boundaries and reined them back. And I thought were really great stewards for the community and help people discover Discord, how to use it and how to better communicate, the aspects of it that they loved. So I know the social media and Rachel are going to take all that into consideration. There's usually a burst for everybody right after the convention on, okay, this is what happened. How can we make it better for next year? And I know they've got all these great plans, and they're looking forward to having the Discord server kind of a permanent addition to the convention environment, and I think that's awesome.
Well, and I love the Discord server, first of all, because it was fun to interact with people right then. You could do it while you're doing other stuff, watching a panel and things like that. But I also loved it because Hotel Sheraton won the battle.
I knew you were going to bring it up. I knew
Hotel Sheraton, the smallest of the hotels, and we kicked Tushy. So
You did.
Everybody
owned
else who keeps going, well, next year, I'm like, we can do it again. Don't worry about us. We'll find it. So I love doing it, and that was a lot of fun. But it was really fun to just do it. Dave, I learned a lot about Discord. What I knew about Discord was John would send me a link. I know. John would send me a link, and that's what we used to tape last year.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was amazing.
Isn't it great that anybody can put up a Discord server, learn how to use it, add it or subtract it however they need to? And like you were saying, you could watch a panel and have a Discord channel up and chat with your friends and see what was going on. It's a great community builder. It
was really fun. So, also, Dave, you are in charge of gaming, and I don't know how. I heard there was gaming.
There was.
John, did you get in any of it?
I did not. Go on, David. Sorry.
Yeah, we had a large amount of role-playing gaming. We had Jackbot games on the Discord server where you just download a little client and you can play along. It's kind of like the old You Don't Know Jack trivia game with some extra stuff going on. That went great. We hosted some e-tournaments on Discord channels. So it's the tool of choice now for anybody that's gaming in the COVID environment. People use Discord along with Roll20 or Vassal or all these other software products that allow you to game with your friends remotely. I use Discord every week when I game with my friends. So it's a great tool for maintaining contact with folks you can't see in person right now.
Yeah. So Regina also, as programming, there was a lot of pre-programming and a lot of pre-recording, but you did stuff live.
We did.
How? That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. And I will tell you, the one thing that was interesting was we found it, we thought that this would be easier. Time zones are really interesting. Trying to get people, and we had people from around the world, literally from around the world, that were all calling in at the same time. And it was awesome, but it was challenging to get scheduled. That was what we found. But again, it turned out to be awesome. So, having one person in New York and one person in London and one person in Singapore, and that happened, and that person, poor thing, it stayed up all night because she was worried about
falling asleep and not being
and getting up. And so but things like that happened, but they would turn into really awesome panels, and it was a way to do something that we haven't been able to do before. But it was just great that those guests really wanted to engage with the fans.
Oh yeah.
And this was the way they could do that. And a lot of those things, they went out live on the channels. They also sometimes would go onto YouTube and things like that. So we'd get some commentary there. Many times we had asked for questions on Twitter right ahead of recording a panel. So we got fan questions answered, just like as if you were standing in line in our ballrooms. So it's kind of a virtual ballroom. But again, really, really proud of our moderators that did such a wonderful job. So, and then of course I'm over the fan tracks too.
Right.
So we had 96 hours worth of programming on the fan tracks.
Woo!
And there was a lot of editing, and we found people that had lots of skills, which was wonderful to find out. And
probably not for them. Probably not even for all of you.
Hey.
Sometimes there's a little bit of
as soon as someone at Dragon Con finds out you can do something, ooh. Well, guess what you're doing for the rest of your life now.
Well, look at the parade, maybe. John. Come on.
But I'm not going to say that we didn't follow his way, but it actually was interesting that sometimes people came up. For instance, one of the tracks, and I won't say who, but if you looked at some of the stuff, you've probably figured out. Found out that one of our volunteers is one of the partners in a virtual reality company.
Oh.
And so they produced something 3D, and it was really cool. And
awesome.
So things like that. People that had run their own YouTube channels in the past and had maybe stepped back from that, but then they were like, "Oh yeah, I got skills, so I can bring that, And so that was really interesting. We had just a vast variety of things, but that's part of Dragon Con too.
Yeah.
Is seeing how different people come at things in different ways. And we sent out right after we announced, literally the day after we announced, we sent out to all our confirmed guests and pros and said, if you'd like to participate, we'd love your help. And that outpouring was wonderful.
Yeah, it was.
We had over 300 people that signed up. And within minutes. I sent this out at midnight. No joke. And
within
5 minutes, I had someone sign up. I had 5 minutes. I had someone signed up, and I actually owed her a candy bar. I already told her that.
You were first in line. Come here. You
first in line. That's right. And so it was super awesome. But just that outpouring of love was just so heartening to see.
Yeah. All right, John, it's your turn.
Well, I'm going to ask. So there's a lot of stuff that happened. We did you invoked a lot of new technology, a lot of new ways of communicating. What is it that you're going to keep going forward with Dragon Con? And was there something that you said, well, we're definitely, besides not having an in-person con, is there something that we're definitely never going to try to attempt to do again? Let's put it out to anybody there.
I'm really listening very intently.
I am one of those people that never says, I'm going to never say never, because as soon as you invoke that, then you're going to have to do it. So I think we learned so much. We really did learn an amazing amount. And I know that many of the track directors, Lee, I think you included, found that they found new audiences.
Yeah.
Which was great. They got new engagement, and there's been several of them that have come forward and said, "Oh, great! I had no idea. I got 300 more people following me on Facebook." Yeah. Or they had the Discord channel, which they never had before. And many of them they're continuing to do a panel a month, kind of leading up to Dragon Con, and just so that they can keep their people engaged. Yeah. So, and things that have maybe a wider audience, like Urban Fantasy, I'm just going to throw that out there, has lots of shows. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe they can address some of the fandoms that they might not get to all the time, because you do have to prioritize. There's only so many hours in a day, but maybe they can have a panel sometime during the year and kind of gauge that interest. And particularly if there's new shows coming up and they've never been able to see what that fandom's like before. Yeah. That's an opportunity for them.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is we've all been talking about for a couple of years. This is the Renaissance era of sci-fi and fantasy, and just amazing stuff that's out there. And I'm talking everything,
just crazy,
books to movies to everything in between. There's new gaming coming out. Trust me, because my husband backs the Kickstarter, and then all of a sudden there's a big package in my house.
There's a box on your doorstep.
How tall is his, as we call it in the gaming world, his pile of shame? Games and software he's bought that just piles up.
Well, no, it's games. He actually bought some shelves from a Kickstarter to hold his board game. Yes. And now a whole wall the size that is behind me
is
his Hall of Shame. Right. And it's still piled up on the floor and on top, and they still come in. It's fine. It's great, because that's
he'll have to draw the line when he wants to get a bigger house just for a bedroom for his pile of shame.
Well, you know what? That would be fine, because then I'd never have to see the pile of shame.
There you go.
Those are the things.
Trust me. Trust me, you will.
Oh, I will?
Yeah. My husband has one of the bedrooms for his style of shame, which I had not heard that term before.
That's
Dave.
what it's called. Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, every room in this house has parts of that. And I'm not saying I didn't contribute. I have my own pile of shame. It's not.
I have a pile of shame
related
in the other room. Yeah, right. We all got it.
But we're both collectors, and there's two people in a 3-bedroom house, and God help us if we ever have to move.
How about you, Rachel? Is there something you definitely want to keep doing for years to come that came out of the virtual?
It's hard for me to answer that question because, as everybody on the call knows that works with me, I am called the overshooter. That I really dream big at times, and sometimes it's a great thing, and sometimes it's not so great thing. So for this one, I am staying more quiet with my ears open instead of my mouth open. But truly, that's what I should be doing. What I really am doing is it's so exciting. Like, I'm so proud of so many things that we as a team accomplished. So some of the things that we know, Discord for sure. I think Dave spoke about it earlier and referenced it. The team, it was so neat. The week after the show, we're starting to go on the server and downsize it to where it's a manageable level where everybody can still have a great sense of community around the year, but it not be quite so overwhelming as the hotels and everything. And so that was really cool. And that's something we plan to bring forward. All of the communication teams that are directly under me have done a great job after the show of kind of looking at, what worked, how can they incorporate it, what they would bring in, if that means that, teams need to change and look for a certain characteristic in volunteers and stuff. So it's been really cool. The social aspect was incredibly neat to me in that we really experimented a lot more with what things we showed on social. And so that's a lot of those lessons learned will be brought forward, whether it's panels or interviews with fan group and things like that. So we'll definitely do that. Streaming wise, I think that's the one that I have to keep my mouth shut on more because it is a balance of not wanting to kill everyone because I do truly care about our directors and volunteers and things like that. But I do feel like we kind of opened the box.
Pandora's box.
We can't shut it.
Hard to put it back in the box.
So we are already in the process of looking at some technology on how can we better leverage both things that hopefully occur at an in-person show, and because hopefully, in some form we'll be having that in 2021, but also, how do we incorporate, whether it's around the year programming or just virtual panels? Because one thing we touched on earlier, which actually got Regina a little sappy, which I love, was the ability to have guests from all over the world that can't come to the show and things like that. So that's one thing on my side that I've already started having conversations with some of the agents and guests is, even if we're able to have an in-person show, which is what we're driving for, obviously, hopefully the world turns right and all the things, but should we and how do we incorporate some of that so we can bring guests that, aren't able to attend because they're, so many countries away or because they're at another show that weekend or, can't travel any longer.
They're filming.
That's where they're filming, and they want to be exactly. They want to be there, but I got to work. They're jobbing actors. I mean, they got to work.
Exactly. One of the Dave Cody actually brought up to me yesterday. I think that, and it was a great observation. Is just the artists. If you got to see any, he and Robert Dennis and I were talking about. We did a panel with Greg Hildebrandt, the artist guest of honor, and it was in his house. And he's showing all this art off. And we also did one on comics with inside the studio with, I think it was Andy Bellinger and Carl Kerschel. And so that's just so neat too, because it gives fans, a peek that you would never have in a ballroom setting at the show, seeing how people engage, seeing what really was Greg Hildebrandt, who is arguably one of the most amazing fantasy artists, of all time. You could see all his cool things and all the.
And he would get inspired and run off and grab a book, a real page
thing.
And we had all these images ahead of time that they sent us. But then he would be like, "Oh no, what inspired that was this," and he would run over to his bookshelf, no joke, and grab this thing now and say, "This thing right here is what made me think of that." And it was, you don't get that. That was just a very different perspective.
It was a different. I got to say, with Eddie McClintock, we did a one-on-one with him, and to see his pile of shame, Dave. He has a pile of shame too. He even admitted it. I mean, I knew he was into horror and things like that, but he had them all over the place.
His wife relegated him to the garage.
Yeah, he's in the garage. He doesn't get to get with that. But no, it was really neat to be able to see that. And the thing I loved is I've gotten into Star Trek Discovery. Yes, CBS is getting my money. And I love it. And I got to watch Anthony Rapp and these wonderful people who. Anthony Rapp was, if you've ever seen Rent, he's
super cool.
He's amazing. And so to see him on a panel, and it was like, because I think he was somewhere, I don't know where he was, but he couldn't have been in Atlanta. He was in New York. So there you go. And it's awesome. It's awesome. And it was so fun too to do fan panels that way, because for me as a track director, everybody got to chat beforehand and then really then just go where, it's Dragon Con, which we all say a lot, but they had an agenda and they'd go through some things and then all of a sudden there'd be a tangent over here, which is like a real panel. That was the one thing that I was worried about. No, we still had tangents. It was just with the panelists more than the audience at this point.
Yeah. There was a lot of those panelists actually that would get off on those, as you say, because they also haven't seen each other.
Right.
Because particularly some of the gaming voice actors who they record their bits and they're not together.
Yeah. Everybody,
they often don't interact with the other
and they
actors
often don't interact.
Yeah.
And it was neat because they were like, "Oh, I haven't gotten to see you in in a year since we did that, and how's your baby, and how's this?" We saw lots of babies, lots of cats, lots of dogs,
lots of kitties, cats love it.
Toddlers in particular do not understand a closed door in a studio. They just
we all feel like that guy in Britain who's like, the children are coming in and you're like, we've been there, dude. It's fine.
Right.
We're good. We like babies and dogs and kittens.
It was great.
Yeah.
So we got to see a little bit more of our personality that way.
Yes. The other thing that I don't know. First of all, DCTV, I love all of you because you were amazing for help. You were amazing for everything else. You were amazing for Discord. But I don't know how y'all pulled off not only the parade, but also Masquerade. How that had to be, that was so amazing and yet such a... did people sleep?
No.
During the day doing that?
It was just like a regular Dragon Con.
They certainly did not. Agreed. I would say it's hard to pinpoint any of my favorite moments. The show was obviously incredibly stressful, a whole lot of work on a lot of amazing people, but that parade, and that was the people we both saw on camera were a huge part of it behind camera, which was Tommy Bird, Jessica Moss, and Chris Lloyd. And they did a phenomenal job. Tommy did a ton of the editing. The whole skit, which was incredible, was kind of Jess's brainchild. And, coming together. And then Crispy took as much as he could and ran with it and getting a lot of it put together. And I mean, there's the three of them together on that parade. I just marveled.
And it was seamless.
It was so cool.
It was literally, you have people who kind of spread apart in the real parade, but it's pretty seamless too. This was just as seamless.
Right. It felt like you were watching a parade. I just thought it was so neat.
Yes. And I was watching.
I remember, when they had the first idea and I was reading because I'm a grammar person and I was helping revise things. And I remember just looking through the things. I'm like, how did somebody come up with this? The thought of entering from the right walking, going to the left, waving. I mean, all the things, the audience shots, like.
Yes, awesome. And the people that were behind, like clapping.
Yeah. Masquerade was similar. Tommy was a big part of that as well. And obviously Tony and Eddie doing a phenomenal job on the hosting.
Yeah.
And then Mel, one of our other very involved DCTV volunteers, helped run it quite a bit with switching and all the things. Right. So
she was running this part,
yeah,
like what we're doing right now. But yeah, she was awesome.
They were incredible.
And then the Friday night costuming contest with Bob and Carl, the sci-fi janitors. That was crazy. That was, I can actually take a little bit of credit for that because I was like, hey.
What do you think of this idea?
So I had this idea. Mm-hmm. Can I ask them? And Rachel said, yeah. And so I did. Cool. And they riffed and did all kinds of different stuff. Yep. And it looked, it was awesome. It was absolutely Dragon Con. That was the thing that we were trying to do, was find those events that were quintessentially Dragon Con and put the people in it that were really quintessentially Dragon Con. Eddie is so awesome. I mean, that. And just the hugs,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just that, and who can forget Duck Dodgers?
Duck Dodgers, it was it.
So, which was also a love child,
At some point, there are going to be little children who go, "What? Well, is that a cartoon, Duck?"
Not if they were educated. They're going to be
like,
it was so
not if they're right. Not if we have
I'm
gotten
confident our fans are bringing people up on Looney Tunes and showing
I hope
them
so.
As well they should.
That's right.
Well, they should.
I've given them to nieces and nephews for years because it's part of American culture as far as I'm concerned.
It absolutely is.
Yeah. Well, and Dave, for my sister's kids, we're building a wall of shame for her every Christmas. Andrew gives the game to the kids.
They can indoctrinate them. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Get them early.
My sister is thrilled. Yeah. All right, John, your turn again.
Well, let's talk about what we can expect. What is the expectation for 2021? In other words, hopefully we're back in person. We're back together. Yeah. What does the planning look like right now for 2021?
So I'm Positive Polly, and that is what I'm trying my best to do. We are very hopeful that we're going to be able to come together in 2021 with our DragonCon family. However, we are also very intelligent people, I would like to say, and pragmatic. And we understand that it's probably not going to look like it has previously, both outside of our control and within our control, because we do want to incorporate some of the biggest successes from DragonCon Goes Virtual. So how goes planning? Very carefully.
Or planting, either
way.
That too. So it is so challenging. So up to this point, we've done debrief is the biggest thing, and understanding where our successes were, where our challenges are. Where perhaps investment in technology, careful investment. Obviously, we didn't have a show this year, so it is a challenging moment, if I do say so myself. But we're kind of evaluating all those things right now. And I think the goal of goals at the moment, as realistic and optimistic as possible, is that we will be able to come together with a show. However, I don't think any of us are thinking that it will be, both out of choice and caution, as well as probably regulations and things like that, be the size that DragonCon Pass have been. So some of our planning looks a bit different in that, we have to realistically plan for the best, but make plans B, C, D, and E, and F, and G sometimes for the not the best. So that is definitely what we're doing. One thing, you can never ask me the question about what am I going to bring forward, because there's so many things I'm so proud of. The vendor hall, we've not talked about.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
success. And that is one thing behind the scenes we are talking about, whether it is in conjunction with an in-person show, having an aspect of virtual so that our vendors can benefit as well as people at home have the opportunity to. And or we've even started looking and considering different parts of the year. Does it make sense to further support the vendors who obviously have had a really difficult time in this pandemic because they're no longer doing any shows or conventions? And we could not have asked for a better partner in Eventany.
We could not have.
We could probably have done this entire podcast to talk about them, to be perfectly honest, on different aspects of the show. They supported, like at the very beginning of the year, they were just doing our volunteer database rebuild with us. And that's what we were doing. And then along came the pandemic and they said, hey, we have this, which was the virtual vendor hall. And we signed on to that after some consideration. And then it was, hey, we would just on a whim like to build a fancy way that you could watch the stream while you shop. And then, we'd really like to build the schedule thing where you can actually follow along in the schedule. So I cannot say enough great things about them as a partner. And the success of the vendor hall was because of the vendors who really got in there and built stores that were incredible. I mean, some of them had hundreds of items listed. So it really like, people were able to shop. And then Eventany, who responded to any of our requests, they actually took, we had a whole Discord channel because, it took me forever to understand Discord, but I do now. And we had an entire Discord channel that was just Eventany with the vendors. So if the vendors had questions or concerns or recommendations or whatever, and it was wild to see a vendor be like, hey, I would love to see if I could just load all my stuff from, an Excel or whatever, so I don't have to go through and individually list everything. And then Eventany would be back and be like, okay, it's coded. You should have it in by midnight tonight. And so it's really awesome. Cool. Yeah. So that's one that we are looking at also bringing forward, like how does that work? What makes sense? And things like that.
Well, I was worried. Well, first of all, it's hard for some of us that volunteer to get to the vendor hall. And so it was awesome to be able to be on Eventany. And I got about probably half of my Christmas shopping done still. There were great jewelry sites. There were great posters. Yeah. Well, yeah. That's my pile of shit. I got it. Yeah. In all the Christmas early. So, but it gets out. Yeah.
So one thing I will share just to brag on our fans and their support of the vendors and stuff is everybody we benchmark going in. I have not say anything negative about it, but I don't believe the virtual vendor presence was really leveraged as much as it could have been. So everybody we were benchmarking before, it was presented to us to be a very small aspect of the virtual show as far as revenue generation, as far as engagement, all the things. And then the coolest thing was for our wrap-up release, which we did Monday morning, because that's when we just start to write everything. We were ecstatic. So everything we benchmarked with was in the $20,000 to $30,000 range of revenue for the vendors, which is still great in a time when these people aren't, able to get out and do that. Y'all, that morning we were able to do the press release, including $200,000 that our vendors earned through the virtual vendor hall. But once it closed, we let it stay open until midnight that night. The following day, it actually increased to right around 300,000.
That's awesome.
So wonderful. Huge thank you to our fans. Because I couldn't have asked for more to go out and support those vendors that I think, make DragonCon so special. And we got a lot of love from the vendors with just, that they were able to pay bills that they were worried about. Or it's like one that was just really lovely about, they thought that they might be able to make it through this whole, thing. I mean, it just, that was a very proud aspect of the show. And so, one I'm really proud of and happy and know that will continue in some way.
And that's another thing that was really great about that too was the vendors that were, these vendors were great about getting the stuff out just immediately. So people got to enjoy DragonCon again. because they had something to look forward to. Oh my God, I got my package. Oh my God, I got my package. Okay, and they're all showing it on social media. So it just continued the love, and that was another great aspect.
Well, and I got my tea, I ordered some tea for myself, and it was, I think, the next Friday. Oh, it was really good. And it was here the next Friday. I think I ordered it Saturday or Sunday, and it was basically a week, which I'm like, whoa, I like this. This is awesome. And only having to pull out all being able to pay all at once, even though it was different.
That was the thing that most people were like, whoo, it's like going to the grocery store and going down the different aisles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was awesome. So.
Oh, thanks.
John, your turn again. No? Okay, my turn. So 2021, the year of the Epic. You've already got the guest application and the pro application up and ready to go. Am I correct? Yay.
You are correct.
Yay.
Went up on Sunday.
Went up on Sunday. So if you are a guest or a pro, or you want to be a guest or a pro, come on, people. Go on and start doing it. DragonCon.org. It'll be right there. Yes.
With the caveat, we did try to do what was right, and we did make the decision when we made the cancellation announcement that all confirmed 2020 guests are actually automatically rolled over. So if you were confirmed for 2020, the pros have all been notified. We're in the process of sending out all the LOAs for all the guests. We had a little bit of a hiccup. We fixed it. So those should be out this week. And so that's really exciting. So that's one thing I do want to clarify, just because I don't want people to have to go in, because that application is a little bit of a beast.
It is a beast, but that's good. So you already know if you completed your application in 2019.
Yep.
And you were confirmed.
You were confirmed.
There were a few people that, kind of waited. They put their application in and then they waited. And so if you were confirmed, then it's coming. And in fact, the pros, I get a lot of that when we set those out, was like, was this for 2021? Y'all are on top of it. We're like, we told you we were going to roll you, and we're doing that, and they're like, well, this is awesome. It gives me something to look forward to. I really hope that, we can do this next year.
Yeah, so, I think, and the rolling over for 2020 to 2021, also for the members, was, I think, really good. I had a lot of members say, and they had the option to have it refunded, which, because in times of COVID, they might have needed it.
Right.
And so that was really good. But I think we had a pretty good percentage that just said, nope, roll it over. We just want to hold that. Yes. Right.
We had an overwhelming percentage that supported us and allowed us to roll over their memberships. It was very touching.
Yeah.
To that end, what does the hotel situation look like right now for as far as 2021? I never bothered to look.
Okay, so all of our hotels ended up working with the fans to offer some type of solution. All the hotels looked a little different, which was hard to keep up with. But all of them have processed at this point all of their rollovers. So the majority of them offered either exclusively or with the option of rollover refund to our fans. And again, they saw very, very high take rate on the rollovers because, well, nobody wants to go into DragonCon Hunger Games. Right. And so all of them have been processed. 2 of the hotels had to do it manually. So it was a challenge, but of course our partners are amazing and I can't say enough great things about them. So even when they had such low staffing that there was, 1 or 2 people at the front desk, those 1 or 2 people, whenever they weren't helping a guest, were putting in DragonCon reservations. So everybody's looking good right now. We do have some that have open blocks. And we will be promoting that pretty soon. We wanted to give them an opportunity to kind of clean up their, records to make sure everybody was taken care of. But there are several that have small blocks that will be released to our people first. So I encourage everybody to watch DragonCon Social because we'll announce those as we get the links. Weston already did one. They did one pretty much right after the show. And it filled and did very well. We got a lot of positive feedback from our authors, especially, who love to stay in the West End.
Because it's all of it. Yeah.
And it's just quiet. It's a nice, kind of quiet space compared to the 3 big. So everything's looking good. Again, I'm very appreciative of everybody's work at a Dragon Con Goes Virtual, and a big part of that was the hotels. They worked with us leading up to the show, the months of trying to plan it, understanding when we really couldn't do it, even before it had been called, because that was a challenge in this whole process, was the mandates with the governor not including our dates and getting closer and closer and closer. And as people know, that
extending.
That could be contractually challenging. But our hotel partners were incredible in that, really trying to work with us. They came up with some really off the wall ideas that were awesome, that we honestly were going to consider had we had an in-person show. I mean, so much so as one offered up to do registration as people showed up at the hotel, like the hotel guests. And we were like, I'm sorry, do you know how challenging that would be? And everybody was so supportive of what could they do to make Dragon Con, happen. And then when we ended up making the difficult decision, they were also incredibly supportive, understanding what a negative impact it was going to be to them as well as us. They do have blocks. We'll begin releasing some and opening them up. But again, we couldn't be in the position we're in without their support, both last year and, of course, going into 2021.
Well, and I think, John, because we now have Thursday, which is all your fault, I think Thursday at least is going to be the day during the day part where I can at least go see all the people. I can go see the wonderful ladies at the Sheraton who work at the restaurant. I can go and hug all the people I want to hug, because that's what I'll be doing all day Thursday. Or we'll just be elbow tapping, depending on the way it is right now.
Virtual hugs.
Virtual.
Wakanda salute.
Wakanda forever, but also good to see you. Yeah.
The golden oldie.
All day. Yeah. Something I learned as a kid. I had to have.
You can't do that.
You can't do that?
No, I can't get this other. I can't get this.
Oh, John, you have to.
I can't get it to go over.
Look at Rachel. Wow.
Tape your fingers. Tape your fingers and string them.
Separate. I've learned.
Yeah. This is. I was able to do it on both hands.
Whoa.
Hey, can I ask? Did you two, John, Lee, because y'all always ask us questions? Did you guys have a favorite part of anything you experienced?
Oh, that's a good question. It's a very good question. You actually, so I wanted to hit on something when you were talking about the vendor hall. One of the things that I always do is I always bring something home for my kids. I pick something out from the vendor hall for them. This year, obviously, I allowed that. I said, "Hey, there's the vendor hall. Go figure out what you want, whatever." And it was so nice that my daughter was able to support an artist that she loves. That she tries to, every time she sees this artist, she tries to get something from them. So we were able to do that, which was pretty awesome. So that was favorite from my perspective, because I had all shipped to my house. My daughter, she lives in Jacksonville because she's going to school there, and I was able to send it to her as a part of a bigger care package. So that added a little extra Dragon Con for me. Just the MCs for all the events were fantastic. The live in between stuff was fantastic. I mean, I can't think of one thing that really, other than from that emotional attachment thing, that I can think of that was my favoriteest thing, because all of it was so really well done. The engagement on Discord was so much fun, and I'm not a person that normally I avoid social media for the most part, and I do get on. I don't really, even when I'm on Discord, I don't chat very much, but it drew me in several times to want to engage with these people. So just the whole thing, just how everything was sort of thought out and the genius behind it was my favorite part. I mean, even if I wasn't even into something that was going on the screen, there was always something in one of the streams, there's always something else going on elsewhere that kept it going, kept it very much Dragon Con for me. Yeah. So, I mean, I know that's sort of a political answer, but it's...
That's it. No, I think that's it. I think my favorite part was actually kind of related to this pre-show, which got a lot of people saying thank you for us doing this, that they needed some happy, and everything was strange, but they knew that they were going to do it, even if they know we are never going to get to 50 days, but it was good to have some. Right. And that was really nice. I think the funnest, most fun thing I did was try to learn Discord as we were recording one of these, because I knew Jack. I mean, it was like, Lee, this is the link, go on, this is where we're recording, and now here's how you record. That was it. But I loved all of it. Yeah, I really did. Everything I could do, I did. And it was wonderful. And I think I learned some things too, about, well, I just learned. And then also being able to do a live panel that we did and have that be 3 totally separate people, and one of them in a different time, only one of them in a little bit of a different time zone. But, and it was great to be able to do that and put it out there, and it worked, because you always get nervous. It was wonderful. Absolutely. It was great. And Hotel Sheraton won, so I got the Discord. I'm just saying.
All right,
I'm just saying. It's all right. I'll trash talk. But yeah, no, I loved all of it. I really did. And I also love DCTV, Tech Ops, whoever you are now, whatever name you go by. Because when I would do these little recordings, I didn't know how to make myself go away and still record only 3 or 4 people that were talking. So I would put a little thing over my mirror.
Oh heavens.
Okay, no. Yes, I did. Where did it go? And
so there would just be a black box, and they edited that out.
And they edited it out, and I was like, well, thank you, Jesus.
That's about the cutest thing I have ever heard. That is so sweet.
Thank you, Yoda.
Very lucky.
I had no idea how to do that, and they were just wonderful. And being on Discord and having a question, huh?
Its name is the child.
Oh my golly!
I got one adorable.
Of those too.
Regina, you have like 7 of them. I think.
I know she has like all of them.
Way more than that at this point.
It's over there. I got It is a problem. Yeah, the Build-A-Bear one is awesome, by the way.
I have that. That's in my bed, actually.
There we go.
And I have a Pillow Buddy as well that just came out. But I have all of these. There's 12 of them.
Yes.
See, Regina, at this point, it's hard to shop for you, because that's what like looking for Christmas ideas. I'm like, I bet she owns it as soon as it comes out.
Yeah. I have to say that my husband enables this, as in he comes home with things and says, I found something for you. In fact, including these.
I have to check with him then.
But
check with him.
But I have a little obsession going on.
Well, he's adorable. Why wouldn't you have a little obsession?
Well, is there anything else we need to hit before I do a quick little quiz with you guys?
Oh my heavens!
Quiz. Okay.
I love quizzes.
Well, it's not really a quiz. It's more of a.
It's a way to humiliate Lee game.
Yes, it probably is.
Oh, this is so exciting! I like that even better.
Those are always fun.
An awesome social media quiz.
Oh no! How much did that cost? $2.50.
It says $5, but I got half off of $5. So yes, you're exactly right. $2.50. It was $5, then on sale for $2.50, but it was originally $7.98 in the bargain. But basically, it just kept going down.
I actually had volunteered
still
at
wasted
one point.
$2.50. So.
Yeah. At one point, I had told him that I would give him $20 if he would upgrade his games.
So
he loves
the bargain.
Let him have his little toys. We all have our little.
Girl, see if you can see it. So down here, I don't know. There's a drawer full of.
Oh goodness.
Trivia cards and all sorts of fun stuff in there.
Yeah. Serious? Okay.
Yes, he has his pile, but his pile actually currently fits in one drawer.
Oh, I have a wall of shame out in my.
It's just a drawer of trivia, so that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, still a drawer. Yeah.
But in this case, we're just going to do a social media quiz because, and this one is actually what 90s TV show should you binge watch? So scientifically, we're going to determine what you should be watching now that Dragon Con Goes Virtual is definitely over.
There's too many new things to watch.
Well, you know what I found? I found that I really, I'm going back to a lot of things just to calm down. Familiar things just to be.
I get that.
Whew. Although I will say this, because I can't promote it enough. I'm sure you guys, well, maybe you've seen it, maybe you've not. If you want a happy, just chill watch, Ted Lasso on Apple TV is so awesome.
Okay.
It is
Really?
It is.
You don't have to be a sports fan to watch it.
Yeah,
it helps a little, but it's really an outstanding show.
It's very,
It's
very
a
well
very
done.
feel-good show.
Yes.
Well, and the one I like, and I now can give it because all four seasons are on Netflix now, is The Good Place, because that is my that show got me through
Favorite all time.
2019. It really did, and 2019 was a tough year. So,
And you'll learn a little philosophy along the way as you
yes,
laugh.
you will, which is awesome. Yes.
It's a very great show.
Yeah, it is a wonderful show. So I'm sorry. All right, John,
so let's go through these real
Lord
quick.
help us.
What age of characters do you prefer? Is it teenagers, adults in their 20s and 30s, or a mix of young and old? Lee, we'll start with you.
Young and old.
Okay.
Like gray old. Yeah.
Rachel, how about you?
Oh Lord.
You already stumped her.
And by the way,
think the same. I want to choose a different one because I feel like that'd be way fancier. But yeah, young and old.
David, how about you?
A mix, always a mix. Yeah.
Okay. And Regina?
Yeah, I like the mix. I like the play between them, particularly when they can't understand how the young ones are coming to this, and the young ones don't understand why they're not very hip, and then they figure out that they're wiser than they thought.
Yeah, they're always smarter.
Yeah.
What kind of stories do you prefer? Do you prefer science fiction? Well, we should just stop there. Science fiction,
Are you kidding me?
true crime, romance, comedy, political, or hysterical. Well, sometimes political could be the same thing. Historical drama. Yeah.
Thank you, John. Diet Mountain Dew up the nose again. Thanks. That
Yeah, so
clears
science
out those
fiction, true
sinuses. Yeah.
crime, romance, comedy, or political. David, we'll start with you.
So we're talking from the 90s?
Yes.
So right now I'm not rewatching Babylon 5, but from the 90s, that was a very underrated show. It's a shame the video
Great
transfer
show.
quality that's on right now is terrible. I hope they remaster it. But I will say 2 weeks ago I started, if you're of a certain political philosophy, I started rewatching The West Wing.
West Wing. Yeah, me too.
Which is comfort food with what's going on right now.
yeah. Yes.
So you're going to go with political then, I take it.
I'm going to go with from the 90s, political.
How about you, Regina?
I would rather just say yes, because I watched a little bit of everything. But I also loved Babylon 5. I mean, that was the writing on that was so tight. That was really
Especially when you
good.
consider the studio threw at them that they had to shorten it by a year.
Yeah. Now
And they
that
managed to
last
make
year
it
was
work.
weird, and
Yeah.
the season 4, when it was suddenly like, okay, no, we're not going to renew you, and you've got to wind this whole story arc up that you have a 5-year plan for. You have a Bible, and now, so that last episode that was supposed to be their final was really strange.
Yeah.
And then they got a new year because everybody screamed and went, no! And we got another year, and he got to do what he needed to do. That was really, really good.
So you're going with political?
Or sci-fi.
Well,
Now-
Babylon 5 had a lot of political.
They had a
in it.
lot of politics
So-
in it, yeah. But West Wing, I actually didn't watch West Wing until later, actually it was off the air and came back to TBS
Okay.
and was on every night
Sure.
at like 7:00.
Yeah.
And we started watching it, and I was like, wow, this is a a really good show, and I've been watching selective moments, but I've actually found out it's on Netflix.
That's where I'm watching
and I
it right
started
now.
watching
It's
it
on
again.
Netflix.
So
No commercials.
no commercials. That's right. So yeah, this particular time now is making me harken back, and and it's amazing to see how many of those themes are still with us 20 years later.
It's amazing, yeah.
Yeah, 30 years later. Yeah,
Depressing, amazing.
yeah,
20
but
years.
it's really interesting.
Just
It's really,
20 years.
yeah,
So-
it's just interesting to see. So
I still need an answer though. Political? Science
political.
fiction?
I'll say
Okay.
political. I don't know. No, I'm going to say sci-fi because I would
Okay.
watch a lot of Doctor Who then, and then Babylon 5, and looking for a lot of those kind of shows. So, when did Farscape come out? Late 90s. That was late 90s.
It's
so,
probably not on the scientific results, but
But I'm just saying. I think that
Yeah, I think it was
watching that
late 90s,
too.
yeah.
So I was watching a lot of sci-fi.
The
back then.
90s had a few nuggets of sci-fi.
Yeah, they really
It's
did.
not like it is now, so
No.
it's tough.
But the Sci-Fi Channel had started, and so we were trying to watch more of that.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
all right. So how about you? How
So
about you,
when
Rachel?
Channel actually
I'm going comment. A, I really love to laugh, if anyone knows me, and I'm a very serious person at times, so I always have needed a break. And B, I don't watch very much TV at all anymore. In the 90s, I was a teen, so I was my 10 to 20, and I was not watching anything that had a lot of substance, to be perfectly honest. Like when you said a show, I was like, wait, that was my Saved by the Bell days. So, like, I don't know that I should be in this mix.
Yeah, we get it. We get it. You're young.
Yeah,
all right.
you're young.
Anyway, Lee, what about you?
Actually,
I'm now 40, y'all. I'm not young any
youngster.
longer. I'm 40 years
Youngster.
old.
youngster.
yeah, youngster.
Over
It's
that
okay.
hill.
First of all, Farscape started in '99. Thank goodness for the little
See,
smartphones.
it was
right there.
Still there. Still there.
And I would say sci-fi, fantasy too, mostly because all of those are in there some way. I mean, any of my sci-fi shows got
All
parts.
right. Choose a location: California, New York, outer space, or Washington D.C. Lee, we'll start with you.
For what?
Just choose a location. Just scientifically, this will determine what you should be watching. Scientifically.
Oh, I can't wait.
Okay, don't scientific. Dr. Fauci did not give his seal of approval to this scientific part. Yeah, outer space, I think,
Okay.
because the other one was Hollywood or New York.
No, California, New York, or Washington D.C.
Not Washington D.C. Yeah, outer space would probably make it better.
Rachel, how about you?
Oh, outer space 100%. I don't feel like there's a pandemic there.
David, how about you?
Oh, I got a shot at outer space. I'm going.
Yeah, me
Alright.
too.
Yeah.
And same. Okay, all right.
Me
Right
too.
across the
Yeah,
board.
if
All
I had
right.
a shot at outer space, I'd be there.
I like a show that makes me gasp, laugh, wonder, or think. We'll start with you, Regina.
Think.
Think. Okay. How about you, David?
I love a tight script, a
Yeah,
tight
think.
story, and
Think.
something that really makes you think about something.
I want to be entertained and I want to think. Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Regina?
Not
I already said
Regina
things.
Oh,
just
sorry,
said-
Rachel. Sorry,
Right.
I was just looking at. I had initials. I have initials across the board.
I'm so different, I guess. I am a laugh person because if I ever get to watch a TV show these days, it's usually with a computer in my lap, and it drives my husband bonkers. And it's really hard to do on the shows that make you think, but I do enjoy those. But so I'm going with laugh just
Laugh,
because I typically have
Shows
a
can make
computer in
you
my
think
lap.
and make you laugh, though.
They can.
Yeah, I love that.
If they're
they're
But
done
good.
the
well,
ones that Jamie
there are
watches, the
moments
really
that I like
intense
that-
ones.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't do it like dark. I cannot keep up if I've got a computer
Jamie,
in my
Jamie
lap.
likes dark.
Loves it.
Oh, we
and I
have
like it. It
ten.
is cool, but I can't like without being like to the screen.
Oh
I
yeah,
can't
you
watch
can't.
the
You
show.
can't. No.
Yeah,
Right.
no.
That's Rachel's way of saying she half watches shows and is working
Right.
all of the time.
All of
Yeah.
24/7.
Let me
she-
try
And that it
Translate
drives my
for you.
husband
There you go.
crazy.
How about you,
I
Lee?
can't say much because I have two screens,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of times if I'm not doing a comparison, I've got something on a Netflix on one of them, and I'm working on something else.
Think for me, because I'm probably going to rewatch a show that I like, and I always find new things if I'm thinking about it. X-Files, I mean, I've watched them so many times. Yes, it came out in the 80s, 90s.
All right, choose a musical style: hip-hop, rock, pop, experimental, or classical. David, how about you?
Rock.
Rock.
I'm a child of rock.
Rachel, how about you?
Rock for sure.
Okay, Lee.
Rock.
And Regina.
I'm the weird one. I like pop.
All right.
Pop actually means popular for a reason.
Yep.
I do like rock. Rock is part of that, but yeah, I like
crossover. There's crossover.
There's crossover.
There's nothing wrong
And
with that.
I was a musical person. I sang when I was in school and stuff. So I've done a lot of it. I like a mix of a lot of things. So
I do love some Taylor Swift. So I do have some pop.
she does love
country.
and country. I mean, she crosses a lot of genres.
Yeah.
So you know.
There you go.
All right, choose a movie: Stargate, Bad Boys, The Notebook, When Harry Met Sally, The American President, or Signs. We'll start with you, Lee.
Signs.
Everywhere.
Which
Signs.
terrified me, by the way. And I am such a wuss. That tells you how much.
We watched that the other day. Scary as.
I was watching some of it like this.
What was the first one again?
The first one was Stargate.
Stargate.
Regina, I'm actually going to go to you. Stargate, Bad Boys, The Notebook, When Harry Met Sally, The American President, or Signs? Out of those, which would you choose?
Stargate.
Stargate. Okay.
Right.
David, how about you?
Not surprisingly, before I restarted watching The West Wing, I
American
watched
President.
The American President.
Yeah, that's a good one
Which
too.
was also Aaron
That's a
Sorkin.
really
Written
good
by
show.
Aaron Sorkin, right.
Yep.
That was the test pilot for the show.
It really was.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, he wrote it.
And Rachel.
I'm going all nutso and going with The Notebook because for some reason, even thinking about that movie makes me cry still to this day.
I was like looking at her face going, she's going to cry saying that.
Like, I mean, honestly, I don't know why. Who knows? But that still to this day, like her dress and I'm done.
The rain.
Yeah.
What was...
Cry.
It's funny because I almost could go with Bad Boys. I'm not that franchise because I have this thing about action films.
Oh, yeah.
I love them.
She does. And action stars.
Yeah, Vin Diesel is my favorite.
Oh.
Anything that Diesel is in, I will go watch, including that witch thing that he did that was terrible.
Horrible.
But I watched it because Vin Diesel was in it. you know.
Sometimes you just gotta. Yeah.
Just saying.
I heard a rumor that he wants to come to Dragon Con 2021.
Jonathan.
Right.
You're
I'd
starting
love
a
for him to
rumor that
come.
he wants to come.
Yeah.
That's what, I'm very good at these things.
Yeah.
You're really,
Yeah.
really you love to stoke it. Yep.
What was your favorite 90s style? Was it shoulder pads and pleated pants, feathered bangs or in double denim, backwards hats, the Rachel, or sleeveless denim vests,
Sleeveless anybody.
mock turtlenecks with bold patterns rather, and blazers. So I guess they kind of combine some of these things because I don't remember ever anybody wearing a bold mock turtleneck with a bold pattern. But anyway, so which of those things was your favorite 90s style, Lee?
I had a whole lot of those mock turtlenecks with patterns because that was the kind of classic preppy thing that.
Did they have? Did they have? Okay, I don't.
Oh yeah, all over the place. And they also didn't have shoulder pads because I did not need the shoulder pads.
I do remember bleaching my hair blonde.
I tried that too. It didn't.
And wearing acid washing my jeans and.
Wearing your cap backwards?
No.
I've got a picture of you with acid wash jeans.
Wearing a pink
Mock
polos.
turtleneck?
Pink polos.
Pink polos?
polo.
Yes, pink polo.
Anyway, I had
Got to
no
see his
idea what
hair,
I was
too.
doing.
It was like-
And that, by the way, that was the 80s though. So
It was-
technically,
Yeah.
David, how about you?
I have to go. I can't pick any of those. None of those appeal to me
Yeah, right.
at all.
But if you had to pick one,
Is it a turtleneck with a pattern?
Yeah, a mock turtleneck, so it only came like a little bit.
I can't even remember that.
I can't either. But again, it also may have been that we blocked it out of our heads.
I guess I'd go with a blazer, a Miami Vice blazer, although that was the 80s. So those are all terrible choices.
You're all terrible.
We'll put you down for blazer. We'll put you down for a blazer.
Fine.
How about you, Regina?
Was it like feathered bangs?
Yeah, that was on there.
Yeah, well, I did that.
Okay.
No, I did the fair in the 70s. So
and Rachel, how about you?
I'm going to go feathered bangs as well.
Okay. Almost done here. Who were you in high school? Were you the class president, a nerd, the popular kid, class clown, or awkward invisible kid? We'll start with Lee.
What was the second one? Nerd?
Nerd.
Yeah. I was in math club. Loved it.
Rachel, how about you?
Oh, 100% nerd. I was valedictorian. Like, I studied, like, I would still choose to go to school if I won the lottery. I am absolute nerd.
That'll be awesome.
Oh, wow. We learned 2 new things about Rachel. Let's see. David.
I did not hear jock. I was a nerdy jock. So I think I only heard nerd. So we'll go with that.
Yeah. And Regina.
I was the nerd, but it was really weird. In my high school, all of the nerds, all the people that were in college prep courses were also in music. So you were either in band or you were in choir kind of things. So I was in Godspell. I did all those kind of things, but we were all also in the lead classes for some reason. I had a math brain too, but math and music go together.
Yep.
So
they do. Yep.
Yeah, same part of your brain.
Mm-hmm. All right. So last 2 questions here. Catch. Choose a catchphrase. The truth is out there. Decisions are made by those who show up. How you doing?
How you doing?
Mind your business. Are we having fun yet, rather? And make it so. Let's start with David.
Decisions are made by those who show up.
How about you, Regina?
Yeah, that's probably, yeah.
Okay.
And it's a very true statement. You see, I'm stuck here between the truth is out there.
Yeah,
and
I was going to say, there's one you have to pick, isn't there?
You pretty much, yeah.
Well, see, but make it so was Patrick Stewart, and yeah.
I'm putting you down for the truth is out there.
You got to put me down. Care. Yeah, the truth is out there works. So
the theme of the podcast requires that. And Rachel.
Decisions are made by those who show up. That's got to be for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And last question, then I got to do some math. David disappeared.
He's been doing that.
Oh, there he goes.
Yeah.
Where do you like to hang out? At a pool house, a coffee house, a fancy new house, a haunted house, a White House, or a house with a holodeck? How about you, Lee?
I really love that idea of a holodeck, but I'm just the holodeck thing because I already say things that I should make me be on the holodeck, so I'll go with that one. Yeah.
All right, Rachel.
Pool house for sure.
I do like pool house. Pool house.
David.
The holodeck in outer space. Come on.
All right.
True.
And Regina.
Holodeck. You can be anywhere if you have a holodeck. You can choose all of them if you have a holodeck.
I still haven't figured out how you swim in a holodeck, but it's fine.
One question while I do the math, and then Lee can vamp for me as well.
Okay.
You can still purchase the streaming membership, correct?
Yes.
And how would someone do that?
I love that. So you can go on to dragoncon.org under Buy Now. There's a little thingy that's streaming memberships. And it directs you to dragoncon.tv, which is also where you can purchase them. Used to be there'd be 2 processes where we sent members to our store and anybody who wasn't a DragonCon member to dragoncon.tv. But this year we made the decision with the pandemic that we were going to offer streaming memberships to everybody for the low price of $10.
You can still get it.
Thousands
of hours.
There's so many hours, and I didn't get my facts in to this call. I'm so sad because I was enjoying our conversation instead. Trivia question, John, you still do your math. Regina already mentioned 96 hours on the Fan Track channel, which let me just take this moment to thank Robin O'Neill and her team who were superstars.
You were wonderful, Robin. We love you.
I cannot say enough great things about her. But anyway, so she said 96 hours, which was Fan Tracks. How many total hours of programming were included in Dragon Con Goes Virtual? Now, that would include our 3 main channels that were main, Fan Tracks, and the DCTV Classics. And it would include all of the programming that ran across our amazing track pages on social media, as well as some of the little panels we did on our main social. How many hours?
Well, does gaming count too, or no?
No, we did not add those physical programming panels.
I like that number of 1,000, but I think it's probably around I would say about 750 hours. I actually starting to add that up in my little head. Yeah.
Look at you, fancy. It was 650 hours. I was so proud of it.
Well done.
Yeah. That is amazing too, because I was a track director. We all talked about it in Facebook. I had no idea how to do some of this stuff. I had no idea how to even start. And to be able to do the panels, to be able to moderate them, and then also just to be able to put them up. I now have a YouTube channel for X-Track and Paranormal Track. Wow. Awesome. Great. So that was really good. And I think that's why I love the streaming membership, which is good because my nephew got one because he could not come to Dragon Con this year already because he was working. And so he got to watch a little bit of it on that. But again, he's working, so he gets a streaming membership and got to watch all that. So now I do want to, we already talked about that if you rolled over your membership, and I'm talking the memberships, is already done for 2021. I know, because I have really tried, I always have to have a decompressed time. Is it open now? Can people buy their 2021 at this point, right?
Okay. It is. And it is a little different than we've done in the past. We made when we made the announcement and decision to cancel that we were not going to offer a lower price because something didn't feel good about asking our fans to roll over and support us and love on us and then possibly undercutting them with people the following year who had not been with us getting a lower price. So it is the lowest price of this year is different than normal. And it is the price that we were at when we made that cancellation decision in July. But yeah, they're online. They are available. People can go and purchase today.
Yeah. And I keep calling it the year of the epic because I think it is just going to be hopefully so wonderful to be back and see people in person, even if all we can do is knock elbows, because that didn't sound right either. Okay. I'm done.
Hey, I'll knock elbows with you anytime, Lee.
You just really I meant that.
See, if you're reading into it, that's your. All right, so the scientists have spoken.
Oh,
they came back.
I can't wait.
With what you should be watching. Okay. Lee and David, according to the scientifically, you should be binge watching Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Oh, I did that.
And or Sequest and Stargate SG-1. So those are the
Sequest. All of that Sequest. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what you guys should be watching.
The first season was okay.
Yeah.
Sci-fi
after that, it just went completely.
Sci-fi with the message is the next generation. So you got it.
Yeah.
Same issues.
Regina, you're apparently supposed to be binge watching the X-Files. And if you run out of those, you got Buffy the Vampire Slayer or Charmed.
I was a big time Buffy the Vampire Slayer person, so I was actually in the official fan club and cleaning stuff out as we all have done over this period when we were stuck at home. I found my original membership stuff that they sent you with pictures from the cast and everything like that.
Oh, that's so cute!
And I have a little geek cred. I have a little bit more cred with one of my very good friends who was big time into the bronzers. She was like doing it, and she didn't even have that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
That's adorable.
Okay. As we start doing that, I found that I had the Playboy, the Playgirl that David Duchovny did the interview in. I found that and I went,
yeah,
oh
you bought
yeah.
it for the interview.
Yeah,
Right.
it was for the
Did you
article.
say that he did the interview with?
He did do, yeah. He actually was in there in his underwear too. All right, sorry.
Okay.
Now you gotta do Rachel.
And Rachel, you should be binge watching Friends, and or Will and Grace in Seinfeld.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Those are the things
all
you
that.
should be doing
Good
now.
choices.
You got
I
some.
watched all of those.
Those are all good, and at least Friends right now is still on Netflix, I think.
No,
No, it's off now, isn't it?
They pull it down?
They
Where is
pulled it.
Where is it? Is it on Hulu?
I think it's on Hulu.
It might be on
Oh,
Hulu.
it might be on Hulu. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Does
they
the mouse
paid a lot of
part
money
now?
Keep up
for it.
with all of these streaming services, you know. So
The only thing you should really be watching right now is Mandalorian and be done with it.
No,
it's
sorry,
only an hour a week. So
Discovery is also on.
What's that?
Oh.
Discovery.
Discovery back on?
Discovery has restarted.
This,
Yeah.
this should be
I love that.
This is 3 today.
3? Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Sonia- Sonia's
That's what we're
liking-
doing after this.
My wife is liking The Right Stuff as well on Disney.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's not the movie The Right Stuff, but a show.
like a mini series.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a
or it's a show.
yeah, like
Yeah.
a television show.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Anyway, so
Alright.
thank you all for joining us. I hope, I pray, and to Cthulhu, to whoever, that I will be able to see you all in person in what 11 months now.
About that.
About months, right? No.
10
About
months.
10 months.
10 months. Math
Less
is
than
hard.
10 months.
Math is hard. Let me double check. Oh, wait a
Well-
minute. All of you guys should be watching The Simpsons.
That would work.
got it all wrong.
I would agree.
So hopefully we'll all be see you again. But again, thank you for putting on the show that we had. It exceeded expectations. Even if someone just got on there and said Dragon Con 1,600 times, I think we would have loved it. But this went way beyond. Well, someone saying Dragon Con 1,600 times, certainly, but way beyond all our expectations. And we really do, speaking from a fan's perspective, really appreciate the time and effort you guys put in to
Thank you.
to put out a show that
You guys did
was
amazing.
Thank you.
that you could have easily just said, you know what, we'll skip it and we'll do next year or whatever. It was pretty awesome. I'm going to tear up now. So until next time, for Regina, Rachel, David, and Lee, this is John saying peace.
And bye.
Bye.